salty, sweet, chewy, crunchy.
This is the best chicken I have ever had.
Chicken and waffles?
This morning, homebuilder sentiment plunged in July as buyers pulled back, marking one of the largest single drops in the survey's history.
Hey guys, Brian Stevens here with the National Real Estate Post along with Joanna Lockhart. Now, hey, this is going to be kind of a tough one to follow, so stick with us because this is a very important show that nobody is talking about. It's the importance of zoning, but please stick with me on this show. No mentions, no nothing, just a great show to help us really understand what's happening in our communities. So think about this, fried chicken and waffles. If you've ever had it before, it's wonderful. What about sweet and sour? We've all had that one. What about chocolate on a pretzel or bacon on a maple bar? Yeah, we love this stuff because the contradictions in flavor taste great. Now, if only it was that way when it came to the housing market, the manipulation of me and you and what we get on a daily basis. For example, we just got this one.
May was the most expensive month for potential buyers to purchase a home since 2006. Due to record home prices and surging mortgage rates.
That's right. The affordability crisis is prompting more buyers to give up on their quest for home ownership.
Housing market collapse deepening fast. New home sales crater as experts worry that downturn could spark a recession. Housing affordability index drops to the lowest level since 2006.
So is housing collapsing or going through the roof? It's my chicken and waffles. How in the heck could we be about to collapse and have the least affordability on the same day? Maybe it's intentional, right? Maybe not. Maybe it's both on the same day. Maybe it's just different agendas looking at the same information and drawing entirely different conclusions to manipulate me and you. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like foreclosures are up by 440%, which they are, year over year. I mean, call up the National Guard. The world is coming to an end with these foreclosures. Yet if we look at foreclosure activity, well, you look at it.
As you can see currently in 2022, foreclosures are at 164,581. It's certainly a huge increase from the previous year where we only had 65,028. However, if we look at averages, they've been much higher. In fact, from 2008 to 2010, we averaged over 1 million per year. And every year since the last, our foreclosures have been triple digits higher than what we're currently looking at. We have a great market. We've got a bad market. What we do have is home builders who are inexplicably not building single-family residences for primary residence borrowers in every major metro area. They've done this to a point where we are now over 5 million single-family units short of a healthy housing market. Why are new home builders not building homes? Well, how about this?
Perhaps they can't do it. Perhaps they can. Perhaps we have city planning and zoning ordinances in place right now that have political persuasions and objectives that run in the face of what your family and personal housing goals are right now in every city. Zoning, as I said.
From an article titled "The Conservative Case for Ending Single-Family Zoning," last week, Stanley Kurtz, a senior fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center, published an essay in the National Review in which he made a claim that President Joe Biden and fellow Democrats are setting out to abolish the suburbs.
To abolish the suburbs, is that even a possibility? Well, to abolish the suburbs, Kurtz writes, Biden and the Democrats will require the elimination of single-family residence zoning. With that, the basic charter of the suburbs is just going to disappear. At the very moment when the pandemic has made people rethink the advantages of dense urban living, the choice of an alternative is just going to be taken away from them. What's more, Kurtz concludes by saying that the attacks on the suburb zoning will undermine the tenets that are the foundation of this whole American experience. The suburbs, as we know them, will pass from the scene. With them will disappear the principle of local control that has been the key to American exceptionalism from the very start. I mean, since the Pilgrims first landed, yes, I'm going there, our story has been of people who chose how and where to live and who governed themselves when they got there. Self-government is a layered federalist system allowing for local control right down to the township in what made America great.
So zoning laws have met political objectives. Residential zoning has run into social reengineering. As we just said, it's the cart before the horse. We're not building single-family residences because our communities today have been politically persuaded to build single-family rentals instead. I mean, if we can't afford homes to buy, maybe we can afford homes to rent. But if we built the single-family residences to buy, then maybe we wouldn't need to rezone our communities, causing those single-family homes to get scrapped for apartments to rent instead.
Have you looked around your community and seen all these apartments going up and just said, why aren't they just building houses? Is it by design? Is it zoning? Certainly looks that way.
There's a similar pattern you'll see in the skyline of cities all over the US and Canada. The city is sprawling and flat, and then suddenly, a bunch of giant towers. Someone will inevitably claim, I live in the suburbs because I don't want to be crammed into a concrete box in the sky. As if there's no alternative between a concrete tower and car-dependent suburbia with asphalt as far as the eye can see.
But also, can't help but notice that those apartments for rent that are showing up in all of our communities around the country now could easily be turned into affordable housing, which would, and I think by design, change the very fabric of our communities in a manner that's harmful to everybody involved, especially if these contracts to snuff single-family residence, primary residence builds are rezoned for long-term apartment rentals. That hedge funds and their close elected friends could be changed into affordable housing to undermine the suburbs and dynamics of our communities for personal and political agendas down the road when you're no longer thinking about these things, when all those apartments are up and all those single-family primary residences are nowhere to be found.
So you replace your single-family residence builds with rentals, and that leads to an inevitable degeneration of our communities. Every community in the country does better with a higher percentage of owners over renters. When you have more homeowners in a community, you have better schools and lower crime. Period.
And as we just said, being able to turn rentals that could be in the future turned into low-income housing means that your communities of today could become unrecognizable tomorrow. We've seen this re-engineering happening all around the country. For all the people, and there's a whole bunch of you in charge that are going to tell me why I'm wrong for saying this, what everyone else is thinking, all I have to say is this: you guys, all of you, live in gated communities, so don't tell me what we all want in our backyard. Here's the point: as a real estate agent or a lender, you need to look at what's happening in zoning in your city, your community, your parish, and your state. Because it appears right now the fact that we have such a shortage of single-family residences to purchase seems to be fixed. It seems like a lot of hedge funds and big money who are pushing single-family rentals in our communities is by design, and they're working hand in hand with politicians who don't agree with what our ethos is for the communities that we live in. I hope you understand this, and I hope you get involved with your local community to get more of those single-family residences, and let's get rid of some of these high-rise rentals because they don't do anybody any good. With that said, you guys make it a great day, and I can't wait to see you until tomorrow.